Good morning, students. Let's start a new chapter. And the name of the chapter is United Nations and its Organization. Initially, the name of this chapter was International Organization. Okay, and the revised name is United Nations and its Organization. So we'll discuss that how international organizations are helpful and what is a United Nation. The United Nations is generally regarded as the most important international organization in today's world. International organization means an organization where the whole world is a part. Okay, maximum number of countries are the member of this organization, that is called an international organization. So United Nations is also one of the most important international organization, and in the eye of the many people all over the world, the United Nations is indispensable and represent the great hope of humanity for peace and progress. So United Nations actually the United Nations helps in maintaining peace and progress all over the world. It used to have a friendly relation with the member countries. Okay, international organizations are not the answer to everything, but they are important. You cannot say that whenever something happens in our country, international organization will be there to help us, right? We cannot say that international organization is everything, but somewhere it is very, very important. You can ask for help in international organizations so that all the member countries, they used to support who are in favor of your country. That is how international organization works. International organization helps with matter of war and peace, helps countries cooperate to make better living condition for us all. So this international organization used to help in matter of war and peace. If two countries are having war, this international organization used to maintain peace between the two countries, or sometimes the member countries used to support one country and the other member countries used to support the another one. So that is how international organization used to help in war and peace, and it used to, or it also helps in cooperation. Okay, in also cooperation for all the other countries to have a better living condition. So international organization always used to help the member countries, or you can say help the world, all over the world. An international organization can be important in the context that it resolves conflicts and differences without war, and is not a superstate with authority over its member. So international organization resolves the conflict, and if you are asking for support, if you are asking for any suggestion, at that time international organization used to help by giving suggestion, and it used to resolve conflict between the other countries, between the two countries, and always try to avoid wars between the countries. Okay, and we cannot say that it is not that international organization used to have authority over its member. They cannot give orders to any other member countries, but international organization gives suggestion, they used to help. International organization is created by and respond to a state and can help a member state resolve their problem peacefully. International organizations are also helpful in solving global issue. An international organization can help produce information and ideas about how to cooperate. So international organization used to help the member countries in every sphere. It used to focus on a global problem also, and used to have create resolve a problem peacefully within the country also. Okay, and they gives information to the member countries how to cooperate with each others. They used to resolve conflict, and they also helps in war and peace, and they used to help to cooperate between the member countries. Okay, so that is why international organization is very, very important. Okay, now United Nation, how the United Nation formed. With the end of the Cold War, the role of the United Nation has changed. After the First World War, the League of Nations was born to avoid war. League of Nations is also an international organization. Okay, so when the Cold War ended, that time the role of United Nations has also changed. Okay, and after the First World War, the League of Nations was born to avoid war. League of Nations that has been established in order to avoid war between the countries, because we already had the Cold War. Okay, after the end of the First World War, then we have Cold War, then we have again Second World War, right? Despite its initial success, the League of Nations could not prevent the Second World War. The League of Nations tried its best, but it is not successful in resolving or we can say in preventing Second World War. United Nations was established in 1945 after the Second World War as successor to the League of the Nation, because League of the Nation was not successful in preventing war, that is Second World War. So after the Second World War, again one international organization was formed, and the name of that international organization was United Nation, and it was United Nation was the successor of the League of Nations. There was now, after Second World War, there was no League of Nations but United Nation. The United Nations was set up through signing of the United Nations Charter by 51 states. So, how many members were there? 51 states were member in United Nations. United Nations objectives is to prevent international conflict and facilitate cooperation among states, because United Nations is also one of the international organizations, so its main objective was to prevent international conflict between the countries and facilitate cooperation among states. All the member countries should have to cooperate with each other. So it is the main objective of United Nations. In the United Nations General Assembly, all the members have one vote each. And in the United Nations Security Council, there are 5 permanent members. Okay, so in General Assembly, in United Nations General Assembly, each country have one vote. Like for example, we have, because this is a political science subject, we all know about Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, right? Every member have one vote, right? Majority. Similarly, in United Nations General Assembly, all the member countries have one vote. If some issues are going on in a General Assembly, and the member countries, they wanted to support or they are against that problem, that time there will be an election. So each country have one vote. Who were supporting, that counted as majority, and who were not supporting, if they got the majority, right? You know what is voting system, right? So in the General Assembly, every member have one vote, and in the Security Council, there are 5 permanent members. That 5 permanent member cannot be removed from its position in the United Nations Security Council. And those 5 permanent members are United States, Russia, United Kingdom, France, and China. So these are the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. They cannot be removed. They are the permanent member. Okay. The United Nations most visible and public figure and the representative head is the Secretary General. So who was the head of the United Nations? It was Secretary General. The United Nations consists of many different structures and agencies. War and peace and differences between member states are discussed in the General Assembly as well as the Security Council. So, whatever problems are going on around the world, or the global issues, or differences between states, that has been discussed both in the General Assembly and in the Security Council. Reforms and improvement are fundamental to any organization to serve the need of a changing environment. So United Nations always used to have reforms and improvement, okay, in order to change the environment. If the environment is tensed, United Nations used to have certain ideas to change that environment. Okay, two basic kinds of reforms which face the United Nations are the reforms of the organization structure and process, and a review of the issues that fall within the jurisdiction of the organization. So there are two basic kinds of reforms in the United States. That is, one, to restructure the organization, and whatever process they are dealing with, that has to be restructured. And second, to review the issue, to focus on the issue which comes within the jurisdiction of that organization, which comes within the area of that organization. On the reform of structure and process, the biggest discussion has been on the functioning of the Security Council. So the structure and the process, if there should be a reform between reform and structure and process, then that is the biggest discussion going on in the Security Council. So after First World War, League of Nations was formed, and the League of Nations was not successful in preventing Second World War. So after Second World War in 1945, United Nations was established, and it was the successor of League of Nations. Okay, and the United Nations was started by signing by 51 states. And in the main objective of the United Nations is to prevent international conflict and cooperation among states. Okay, in United Nations General Assembly, each member country have one vote, and in the United Nations Security Council, there are 5 permanent members: United States, Russia, United Kingdom, France, and China. So these 5 are the permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Okay, and General Secretary General is the head of the United Nations, and in United Nations the whatever global issues are going on, and whatever problems that falls within the jurisdiction of the organization has been discussed in the United Nations. And the two most basic reforms, changes which the United Nations are having right now is the organization structure and process. Okay, so that is the biggest discussion that is functioning in the Security Council. Whatever structure and process they have to reform, they have to change in the United Nations, that will be discussed only in the Security Council. And all other things will be discussed both in the General Assembly as well as in the Security Council. So this is called United Nations. In our next class, we will discuss about a few other international organizations like UNESCO, UNICEF, ILO, WHO. Okay.